There's significance on two levels. I mean, I would be, as a historian, the last to deny the significance of having an openly gay African-American woman as the mayor of the third largest city, because the way that racism has worked in this city and in this country in the past is through exclusion, right? So the fact that we have overcome that hurdle in terms of representation is significant. But what's more significant is the way in which this generation of activists, particularly young black activists, have transcended narrow identity politics and have really insisted that politicians like Lori Lightfoot and Toni Preckwinkle and others adhere to a set of progressive demands and issues that have defined this campaign. So I think, you know, on another level, the real victory is that movement organizers, young Black and Latinx organizers, have put critical issues on the table, and that the two contenders both had to present themselves and make promises around a progressive agenda. The question now is, will they keep that agenda? I should also say, in all fairness, that, you know, there were critiques of both candidates, and I think that reflects a level of political savvy and sophistication, that it wasn't enough to say we're going to have a black woman mayor, that many young black queer activists, for example, were very critical of Lori Lightfoot's role on the police board and didn't feel that she really fought hard enough to hold police accountable, to punish police for police crimes and so forth. So they weren't timid about doing that simply because she was an African-American woman and an out gay black woman. So the twofold victory is that in some ways the white-led machine in Chicago politics has been wounded, if not defeated. But it's also a challenge that, you know, a whole ecosystem of Black and Latinx and anti-racist white activists in Chicago have shaped the debate around this campaign and will continue to push after the inauguration in May. We're still waiting to see how many people actually voted, but yeah, Lori Lightfoot won by a landslide. That's undeniable. In the February election, however, we didn't see either Preckwinkle or Lori Lightfoot win a majority of the black wards. That just was not the case. So how we see this playing out, you know, we're still figuring it out. But this I will say, I think people have a desire for change. I think sometimes, you know, maybe we're not as critical as we should be about what kind of change is, you know, is likely to come. I think both of the candidates, though, made some impressive commitments. And again, you know, I think we have to see whether Lori Lightfoot is in fact going to deliver on the promises made. So I think the desire to break with tradition, and Toni Preckwinkle was certainly seen as a part of the old guard. She was one of the founders in the city council when she served there of the Progressive Caucus, and certainly was supported by the progressive wing of the labor movement here in Chicago. But I think the idea of someone who hadn't held office, the idea of someone who had a strong message of being independent and so forth, was appealing to a number of people. Now that said, also a lot of people with money supported Lori Lightfoot. A lot of you know, North Side wealthy districts, wards, went with Lori Lightfoot, and that allowed for TV ads and a reach that Toni Preckwinkle didn't have. So, you know, I mean, people vote for a lot of different reasons, and I guess, you know, part of the way I'm making sense of this this morning is that it's not just about what individual wins. It's about what issues got put on the table and what commitments were extracted. And so phase two then is to see whether the movement sustains its pressure, sustains the push, and actually holds Lori Lightfoot accountable for the things that she has promised to do.